Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy, Pokemaster here, and today we are doing the Week 3 battle for UPBA Season 1. So, as you can already tell, this battle's on Showdown. We got about halfway through the battle, and then I disconnected. It was my fault that we disconnected, so yeah, that was really unfortunate. So we ended up just playing the rest of it through Showdown, because my Wi-Fi was still acting up, and we didn't feel like disconnecting again after recreating everything. So, yes. So, here we are. So, this week, actually, I need to flip the teams around. So, yeah. So, here we go. So, this week we were fighting Tone and his Miami Malamarlins, which he's a pretty cool dude. He's in a lot of, like, big name leagues. I've fought him twice so far, and I beat him both times, but this matchup was really hard, so I don't know if I can win this match, but you'll see. So, his overall team is Garchomp, which has the Tornadus Therian, Greninja, Jirachi, Mega Kangaskhan, Diancie, Slowbro, Amoonguss, regular Rotom, and Passimian, with Diancie also has the user. So, he has a pretty good... Actually, he doesn't have Slowbro. They just haven't updated the dog. He has Seismitoad, which doesn't really matter that much. Let me see what else he dropped. I need to double check that because I didn't know these trades went in when we battled, but it really didn't affect anything. So he dropped Slowbro and Rotom for Seismitoad and Electros. So, yeah, not too big of a deal. I just didn't prep for him, but luckily neither of the things he brought over them came, so yeah, it's fine. So, as you can see, I'm bringing especially offensive Jolteon as normal with Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hand Power Ice, and Shadow Ball with the Expert Belt. I felt like it had a pretty good matchup. Next, I have a physically defensive Torn to deal with Jirachi with Foul Play, Roost, Toxic U-Turn, pretty basic set. Then I have a physically defensive Buzzwole for the Garchomp with Ice Punch, Leech Life, Drain Punch, and Roost, so it can wall break enough, and he gets the Beast Boost in defense. Then I felt like I had a pretty cool Charizard set with Substitute, Belly Drum, Flame Charge, Dragon Claw. I didn't really see Diancie coming, so I thought this thing basically once it got a sub and the Belly Drum up, it just swept. But now Diancie, I need to get that thing extremely weakened or dead. Next, I just have a basic Choice Scarf, Tapu Lele with Psyshock, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. And then next, I have a Leftovers and Empoleon that's specially defensive with Stealth Rock, Defog, Scald, and Toxic. His defense really matches well against my offense, so I really had to bring more of a defensive team with with a pretty good wall breaker in Mega Charizard X. So yeah, so we're gonna end up leading. He's gonna lead Garchomp. I'm gonna lead Jolteon. I know he's not gonna stay in. Actually, I think he's gonna stay in first turn. Thinking I'm not going to stay in, so I just went for the HPIs. He goes out into Moongus. I go for Volt Switch. Shows me he's Assault Vest, which is pretty good. So he goes for the Sludge Bomb here as I go into my Empoleon. So I go for Stealth Rock, as he has Stomping Tantrum, which was really good prep because if you don't know, it's like a 75 base power, physically offensive ground type move, but if you use a move before it that does nothing, like how his Sludge Bomb does nothing against my Empoleon, it will double the base power of the Stomping Tantrum for that turn, for that next turn, which I thought was really like a cool bring. So now my Empoleon is incredibly weakened, so I switch out of my Charizard, predicting another Stomping Tantrum as he goes for the Giga Drain, which is incredibly fine. But I switch back out of my Mandibuzz, predicting him to switch out into, I can't remember what, but he just goes for a Sludge Bomb, and I go for Roost. That was actually a misclick in the first battle, but I just went with it again because that's what happened. So I just go for another Roost as he goes for Sludge Bomb, and he gets the Poison, which was pretty good. In the first battle, he got the Poison the first turn, but in this one he didn't, so I was just going to keep clicking Roost until he got the Poison. So luckily we just got it the next turn. So I really expected him to switch out at some point, predicting maybe a Brave Bird. So here I just go for the U-turn as he goes for the... I can't remember what it was. The Sludge Bomb, yeah. He gets the poison in this battle, but not in the actual game, so... Yeah, it was really unfortunate, but it doesn't end up impacting anything. So... I go for Ice Punch there. Does pretty good damage. And I'm predicting him to switch out into his Jirachi. Or something like that. Or the Garchomp. So... I go to Jolteon and see Defogs, which... If I would have just stayed in and clicked Ice Punch again, that thing would have been gone, but... He switches out into his Amoonguss from the... What's it called? The Volt Switch. So... I'm going to switch to my Charizard X. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, so he goes into Amoonguss as I go for the Volt Switch. Does like 9%. I go into Mega Charizard X because I know he doesn't want to stay in on this thing. So I just go out into Mana Buzz as he goes out into Tornadus T. So here he goes for the Focus Blast and he hits it, which was really unfortunate. So I get the Toxic off here. Here, I believe I go into the Jolteon knowing I can take any move he goes for. I can take the Focus Blast. Shows me he doesn't have much offensive investment. As he switches out into his Amoonguss. As I just go for the Shadow Ball, predicting the Jirachi to come in. So here I Volt Switch. Right back into my Buzzwole, because I'm like 99% sure like 2 Ice Punches can break this thing. But he can really just switch out here into whatever he wants. He goes out into Jirachi as I go for the Ice Punch. So if I would have made that prediction, this thing would be seriously chipped down. So he goes for the Wish as I just go for the Leech Life to get some health back before the poison damage. So I almost feel like he's going to protect here. But in the first battle, he went for Toxic here. I was really predicting him to go into Tornadus T or just protect, so I just went for the Ice Punch because there was no reason for me not to. But here he switches back into his Amoonguss as I go for Leech Life, which gives me some good health back. So now I'm at like 44%. I'm just going to go out into the Apollyon. I didn't want to risk any more damage. I'm at Buzzwole. So I'm just going to switch back into Mana Buzz to sack it off. But here he goes into Torn T. And I'm just going to die to poison. So Mana Buzz is gone. So here I go into Jolteon. I have no reason not to. He goes out into his Amoonguss. I go for the Volt Switch. This Amoonguss I can't really break, so I go out into Tapu Lele. As I switch out, predicting him to switch. As he goes into his Jirachi, which I knew he was going to go into. Jirachi's like the best Tapu Lele counter. So here, I just go for the sub. Because I know he's not going to stay in, and I'm like 99% sure he won't have anything to break the sub. So he goes for the Hurricane, and unfortunately he actually hits it. So I just go for the Flame Charge that turn, which was pretty good. So now he's at around 45%. So I'm just going to go for the Dragon Claw and kill the Tornadus T. So thankfully, it is not a 6-0. So here he goes into his Garchomp, and I'm really thinking he has to be Choice Scarf because he clicked it immediately right when that Tornadus dies. So he just goes for the Earthquake here, and Apollyon goes down. So I bring out Buzzwole because I know I can take an Earthquake. But instead, he's really Dragonium Z. So Buzzwole is now dead. So really, I'm in a good position here. I'm just going to click HP Ice. And that still does 22% to an Amoonguss, which is absurd how fat this thing is. So I'm just going to Volt Switch right out of my Mega Charizard X. He can go for Sledge Bomb. Does 41%, gets the poison. It really does not matter. I'm just going to go for the Flame Charge to get some damage. He can go for whatever he wants here. He goes for the Venoshock, which I didn't see originally. So my Mega Charizard X is now dead. I'm just going to go for HP Ice there. And I know I can win this game. There was no way I could because I can't break Jirachi. So I'm going to go for Shadow Ball there. As he goes for a Wish. So I'm thinking he wants to go for a Protect so he doesn't have to worry about like a Spadef drop. But really he just goes for he goes for an Iron Head. Show me that he can do damage. So I'm just going to go for another Shadow Ball. As he goes for a Wish. And here I'm really thinking he has to Protect because if I crit him, that's gone. Tapu Lele basically goes free and kills everything. But here he goes for another Protect. Gets up to like 99%. So I'm going to go for another Shadow Ball. Hoping for a Spadef drop at some point. So he goes for Wish. And I go on Tapu Lele just knowing that he's going to go for a Protect here. Nope, he just goes for Iron Head and does 88% with a non-invested Jirachi. So I just have to stay in and click Shadow Ball. I know I can't win this game. So he just goes for the Iron Head and kills my Lele, which is really unfortunate. So now I have Jolteon left, and I'm thinking I can win this game if I can break a Moongus. So I just go for Thunderbolt, hoping for like just a paralysis to where he can't do anything. So he switches out into his Amoonguss after the Wish. So I go for the Thunderbolt. I don't get the paralysis. But he gains almost all his health back. So I'm just going to keep clicking. I'm going to keep clicking Thunderbolt until I get paralysis. Which I never get. But he goes for the Sludge Bomb and kills my Jolteon. So GG to Tone. You played fantastic this game. He didn't even have to bring out all 6 of his Mons. The only Mons he had to use were Garchomp, Torn T, Jirachi, and Amoonguss. He has like a really good defensive team that's hard to break if you have amazing wall breakers, which I really don't have. Tapu Lele was a good wall breaker outside of the Jirachi, but I really couldn't break that. So yeah, GG to Tone. We go to 1-2. Next week we find my good pal D-Train, who's never beat me. Like we've battled like 3 times and I've beat him every single time. So hopefully I can continue that streak next week against him. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.